So what happened was that the Christians took the knowledge from the Muslims. The Muslims reject the same knowledge that they had accumulated since the start of Islam. So you can see the Europeans progressing with the knowledge, the Muslims regressing because we reject knowledge other than knowledge about Islam. So this is why today we see not a single Muslim country is regarded as developed. All of them are third world countries. They may have a lot of money, but money doesn't mean that they are developed. They are all backward. Mostly they have no knowledge about science and mathematics and all the other so-called secular subjects. And because they have no knowledge of these, they have become very backward. I have often stressed in many other forums that the study of science and math is extremely important because we are enjoined by the Quran to defend the Ummah, to be prepared to defend the Ummah. We need to have war steeds, horses. We need to have weapons to protect the Ummah. That is our duty, imposed upon us by our religion. But when we stop studying science and mathematics, and the nature of weapons changed into modern weapons, we were left behind because we had no knowledge of science and math in order to come up with newer weapons. As a result, we have to beg others for weapons to defend ourselves. That means we have not fulfilled the injunction of the Quran that you should always be prepared to defend the Ummah. Today, we cannot defend the Ummah, so much so that anybody who can oppress the Ummah can do so freely, because we are in no position to say no to them. If America wishes to attack Iraq, well, go ahead, because we don't have the forces to stop them from doing so. And we don't have the forces because we have neglected these other fields of knowledge which are still relevant to the security of the Ummah and of the religion. Today, as you know, they call the Prophet a terrorist who brought along teachings that make people into terrorists. I mean, they can insult us in any way they like, and we get angry. We get very angry. Why do they make cartoons of the Prophet? And we get very angry. That's all we can do. We can put a stop to that because we are weak. Supposing we are the world's greatest power, as we were in the great days of the Islamic civilization, nobody would dare to do that kind of thing. So when we fail to protect the Muslim because of our lack of knowledge, we are not actually following the teachings of Islam. That is why we try to impress on people that you must have not just religious knowledge, but also knowledge in these other fields which are also relevant for the safety of the Ummah. If you don't, then of course you are not fulfilling the injunctions of the religion as found in the Quran. So if you want to do service to your own country, you want to see it develop, please don't just concentrate on learning about the religion. Also acquire the knowledge that are the other knowledge which are also relevant to the development of your country, to the protection and defense of your country. So if you want to go back to Maldives, I don't think you would be able to raise a big army there. But we all belong to the Ummah. We all belong to the Muslim Ummah, the Muslim community. Now, if there are in this world today Muslim countries which are regarded as developed and are capable of protecting the Muslims, I don't think all this oppression of the Muslims would occur. So I think we have neglected many of the things that are found in the Quran, which would teach us how to be good people, not good Muslims only, but good people who have the capacity to carry out the defense in the interest of the Ummah and of Islam. Thank you.
Yes, I'm sorry, but I want to just to end to your question, because it was a very important question at the center of what we were talking about. And just now, Dr. Mahathir, and he's talking about knowledge and the way we have to deal between the two perceived dimensions. On one side, logic, and then this is perceived as Western, secular. On the other side is tradition and Islamic. I think that there is something that I was mentioning, and was also we were mentioning when it came to what Muhammad Asad was saying, is the central word, which is no imitation, is all about critical thinking. And you know, when we speak about the other knowledge, in the book Radical Reform, I'm challenging this other knowledge. I think that all the knowledge that we have are Islamic by essence, because knowledge per se is something which is Islamic. Ask yourself, I did this when I went to, I was in Pakistan, in Lahore, in one university, and I did exactly the same in Morocco, challenging the Muslim scholars, say, tell me what is Islamic and the Islamic sciences. And I was telling them, in physics, for example, what is not Islamic in physics? So why do you put Islamic in some and not in other? What is the Islamic qualification of knowledge? So we had people coming with Islamization of knowledge and all this discussion. But it is a very important point, because what we call Islamic knowledge, in fact, is the object of what we are studying, are the scriptural sources, because this is why we are calling them Islamic. But a medical doctor who is just studying the body, is it Islamic or not? It is Islamic in the fact that his knowledge is based on what the object is imposing onto him. So when you have the right means to study a specific object, what is Islamic is just to be consistent with the object of knowledge. And you add to this ethics, so the ends. So I would say that when we want to avoid imitation, when it comes to logic, is to say we don't have a problem with logic, we don't have a problem with what we call the non-Islamic knowledge or secular knowledge. I wouldn't challenge this even. Secular knowledge, what does it mean? It's for us to be able to take from that and never to forget that we take the good, but we always understand that knowledge is a means and that we need to put ends. We have ethics here, ethics into this knowledge. And as to the tradition, exactly the same. We have to avoid imitation by transforming our religion in a formalistic way. We are just following what was said. We don't use our critical thinking. There is no tradition without critical thinking and evolution. So we have to come with this. So I would say that the best is always this. But the point for me is very important. Reason is a critical means, but never forget heart. Never forget the spiritual dimension. Never forget that at the end of the day, the way you use your reason is also depending on the way you use your heart and the way you put ends to think. And I think that this is missing sometimes in our understanding, that we are, I don't want to be rationalist by a way which is worshipping a means. I want to be rationalist by supporting a means in the name of ends, supporting rules in the name of objectives. So I would say that this is the mindset that we need, and this is what in our education we have to start with our kids, in our universities, is really to connect university with the world. I'm sorry, I am seeing now sometimes some Muslims who are worshipping knowledge in the way which is wrong. Knowledge is not the end. Knowledge is a means to something which is worship with your mind and change the heart, the world with your intellect the way it has to be. So this is something that is very at the center of what Muhammad Asad was calling, and it could be a good conclusion to come with this. The way to be a good Muslim today is really to marry these two dimensions. Wallahu a'lam.
Thank you.
Actually, we have invited Dr. Mahathir to launch our new edition of the Message of the Quran by Muhammad Asad. We have just been given the approval from the Malaysian government's Quranic Tax Control Department that our edition is error-free as far as the Quranic tax is concerned. So if you find any error, we are not the only one to blame. So the problem is we haven't got time to get the Quran, the copies printed. It took us 2 years to get it done. We have included a new index, and we have standardized the spellings for the modern terminology and following the diacritical marks of the modern English Islamic usage. It's not on sale yet, but if you use this form and if you submit it back to us, we will give you a 15% discount when it's out in March. I would like to now invite Dr. Mahathir to launch the new edition of the Message of the Quran. And we would also like to give a token of appreciation, Dr. Farooq, as a token of appreciation to Dr. Mahathir for taking his time to attend. We thank all of you for coming to the event for the past 2 days. And we would like to also announce that the movie which we screened was a huge success last night. We almost had a full capacity crowd last night. And the director of the movie, George Mish, has just emailed us, congratulating us and saying that we, Islamic Ultras and Islamic Renaissance Fund, will be given the rights to distribute the DVD version of the movie, which will also have, what you call the subtitles and behind the scenes and censored scenes and all that. So we will try to get them by March, inshallah. I would like, on behalf of the organizers, I would like to say thank you very much again for taking time to attend these events. And we close with Surah Al-Nas.